Welcome to FNM TV. We have Nate Pease versus ADB, Anthony. We have Nate playing the traditional blue-red Delva control over here. And then we also have ADB on the right, Anthony, playing, looks to be Esper. Shuffling his hand up pretty quickly over there. Think twice, end of turn. Draw a card. Untap. Draw one with a blade splicer. Making decisions, in a pass turn. I'm going to see if mana leaks happen. He's going to Galvanic Blast ADB. And then drop a Delver's Secrets at turn to get mana leaked. Nate P is thinking about the counter, and he will with a mana leak. Delver stays on board, keeps it open. Looking at ADB's hand, he has an Inkmoth Nexus, I believe a sword, and could not tell the others. I believe he has a land or two also in that pile of what should be 5 or 6. So he's going to tap 3. Drop a Blade Splicer. That'll bring along a 3/3 Golem token with First Strike to go up against Delver, which is pretty good. However, Delver flies over, and Nate already has 2 damage on the board. On Nate's turn, he'll tap, bring out a Mayor of Averbrook. So it's not really traditional. I figured he was splashing the green, so he could do Ancient Grudge in the sideboard, but I apparently called it wrong. Which isn't entirely too shocking, but yeah. So ADB going in for 6 here. 3/3 First Strike Golem and a 3/3 Blade Splicer guy. So he's going to drop a image, copy that Blade Splicer, create another 3/3, and another to create another 3/3, and just going all in on golems. So there is a total of 3, 6, 9, and this is a lot of tokens going on here. 9 plus 3, 12, 13, 14 power on board for Anthony. And Nate just scoops it up. No Slagstorm or Wrath effects over there. ADB will go up 1-0. And I hope you enjoy our intermission. YouTube has allowed us to have longer videos, so you'll get some more out of here. And what to do with this time, I'm not entirely sure. However, sideboard options, when I'm more aptly prepared to do these, will definitely go around with it. But coming in with these decks, I'm not actually entirely sure. I'm more updated on the current meta as opposed to the meta for last month. And any time that we get to play, the meta obviously changes quite a bit because of all the Star City events and any other events that happen. And this is our basement anyway that we play in, so we always get different deck lists coming in and out. Delver will flip for Nate. Nate will get his Insectile Aberration, swinging for 3 on turn 1, or 2 rather. So Nate will play a second land and pass, leaving open more than likely a mana leak on his side. ADB making careful deliberations over here, dropping a Plains, and then copying Insectile Aberration, and he'll pass over to Nate. Nate will ponder, look in the top 3. And I can feel a bit hypnotized staring at ADB shuffle his hand around continuously in a fast-paced manner. So Nate elects to drop a Rootbound. ADB will drop a Inkmoth Nexus and a Blade Splicer to drop a 3/3 Golem token in. No swing with his Insectile Aberration. Nate will drop down an island. It will tap 2 to Arc Trail, 2 for 1, and go in for 3. Pretty good value out of that Arc Trail there. Sad that card isn't an instant. It would be so good. So ADB goes in with 2 Inkmoth Nexus on the board. He'll swing in with a 3/3 Golem token. And then drop a Spellskite for funsies. And get Mana Leaked. See if ADB will bite on the leak. No bite on that leak. Nate Pease will draw his card for the turn. Insectile Aberration really gets a lot in. How do you feel it pairs up with other 1-drops, even going as far as, say, Goblin Guide, which has been said to be one of the better 1-drops in the history of Red? How do you feel that it compares for a blue card? I mean, blue's never really been traditionally aggro heavy, but this card kind of feels like it breaks the barrier for that. So Nate will drop a Grim Lavamancer along with an island. As ADB draws card for the turn, goes in with a 3/3 Golem token before deciding what cards to play and drop lands. So he's going to drop a... Ooh. He's going to drop a land and then play a Ratchet Bomb right for that Insectile Aberration. And it's a very good response to it because all flip cards, if you guys are unaware of, have a converted mana cost of 0 once they are in their flip position, which is why Ratchet Bomb blows up every single werewolf. So you can choose to just draw a pass when you have a Ratchet Bomb already out and let all the werewolves transform and then blow them up in one turn. So ADB sitting in hand looks to be a Mana Leak, a Day of Judgment, and a card I could not make out. ADB will take his turn, draw into what looks to be a Glacial. Glacial Fortress will hit the board, and he'll pass it over. Oh, he's a Sun Titan. So ADB in hand, what I believe to be Sun Titan, Day of Judgment, and Mana Leak. Nate Pease, I cannot see his hand very well. So Nate doing some math in his head right now, deciding what to do with this. That Grim Lavamancer can go pretty far right now. He'll just pass it on over and start doing 2 to end of turn. Just see if you can whittle ADB down here. Although ADB can really pull the trigger on a Sun Titan, assuming that Nate doesn't have a counterspell. But no reason to believe that he doesn't. Sun Titan comes in and gets snap casted for a Mana Leak. End of turn. ADB will take 2 damage off that Grim Lavamancer. And now Nate can just look to go in with those small beats if need be, although that Incinerate might be a delicious target for another Snapcaster later on. So Mayor of Everbrook comes down. In goes 3 damage. ADB draws a card. Day of Judgment to wipe the board. Assuming Nate doesn't have an answer, which he does. And Nate will ADB will Mana Leak in response. Nate will draw and pass. ADB shuffles up.
Shut up.
Looking around.
Fucking broad.
ADB will go in with a Forbidden Alchemy. Immediately choose to keep one. Drop a Moorland Haunt. Pretty good target. and then drop an Indomitable Archangel, which gets Vapor snagged. 4 game. Pretty good. Pretty good. Intermission, game is tied 1-1. So, in this, I think Nate might want to drop in more Mayor of Averbrooks. Very reliant on, very good against control. Relying a lot on tokens to get these matches won for, I think, both players. Tokens become a very integral part of Standard at this point. More so than last, I think, and not so much with Splinter Twin. I don't really consider that a token deck, although it does win with a retarded amount of tokens. Yeah, I just figure it's way more token dependent right now. There's a lot of good key cards that make tokens. And speaking of Nate Pease in his match, he's actually giving me a text right now. What a guy. So, getting away from texting Nate, Nate will drop a Sulphur Falls and pass over. Spellsky doing a lot to stand in the way of that Grim Lavamancer. Not that Grim Lavamancer would run away with it right now, but provide some D, because every life point is critical against a deck that is burn. Oh. So, I have ADB shuffling his hand up. I believe I saw another Indomitable Archangel in there, providing Shroud to artifacts. Pretty sweet. However, I'm not sure how that goes with... not sure how that goes with a Spellskite, seeing as Shroud you cannot redirect. So, ponder and going searchins. Searchins. And I assume right now, because I just told Nate this is a match from like about a month ago. He's probably going to be a bit flabbergasted. Aren't you, Nate, buddy? Anyway, Nate will resolve his preordained draws card, fix around his 3, drop a land, pass over. Copperland Gorge comes in. ADB will draw Sword of Feast and Famine to go along with his Worn Piece in hand. What I think is a Worn Piece. No, I think it was just a land. So, I don't know what kind of gas he has. He can drop an Angel, it doesn't do anything right here. But it can kind of stand in the way. I think Sword might want to just come down at this point, seeing as there's nothing else really you need to do, and he hasn't dropped any at all in these games. So he will drop in a Blade Splicer and look to see if Nate will counter. With a hard counter, because Mana Leak doesn't get there. Unless Nate wants to drop something next turn with protection. So I assume he's going to allow it. Although it seems like there's no official confirmation by Nate's body language. So he allows it to resolve and incinerates it. And then he'll pay another red to ping it. In for 1. Well, Nate Pease can't remember his own match. That's okay. He will have visual proof when this is all said and done. So, we have ADB dropping a Moorland Haunt and then a sort of Feast and Famine to give each one of those 1/1s that he can create a lot of threat power. Soon be going over decisions here. If I do have to comment though, that is a nice watch, ADB, if you're watching this. That is a very nice watch. I think this match has been more about shuffling cards for both players than playing them from hand. Kidding, guys, kidding. Although you guys make it look very easy. Equip. Oh, pardon me. And they will pay 1 to dismember it. Which total is actually 4, but yeah. Paying 1 mana.
Oh.
I can't read the cards in Nate's hand, otherwise I'll be able to make more astute observations here.
Oh, fuck. One is 400, the other is a half a mil.
Inkmoth Nexus animate, swing in for 3 poison, and Nate will discard an Arc Trail. Again, I can't really tell if that's the correct decision or not. However, I give Nate Pease a huge benefit of the doubt. I'm going to drop Fiend Hunter, what it looks like, to exile the Grim Lavamancer. Going to Mana Leak it. In response, he'll pay the 3. Gets exile with Fiend Hunter. And he's going to drop a Worm Coil Engine. It's pretty good. Especially now that Fiend Hunter's gone. However, I do not know what else is in ADB's hand. I believe when I played against this deck, this was Nate's only Worm Coil. But, oh, it's an Oblivion Ring. Oh, by the way. That's kind of gross. As people clamor and crowd around these camera now, it's going to get a little bit darker for you guys. Indomitable Archangel, swing in for go up to 9 poison. Nate will draw top deck. I think it was a Mana Leak. Nope. And enter Scoop Phase. ADB wins 2-1. This match is brought to you by Harrison's Comics and Collectibles at 252 Essex Street, Salem, Mass. Phone number 978-744-0786. If you guys want to stop down for FNM, we guys have it every Friday. We start at 7. Registration starts at 6. Come down, go to the basement, call in if you want to talk. If you want to talk to somebody who knows about it, talk to Logan. We'd love to see you guys. Have a good one.